Zenon's gratis is sus. And all that, and she thinks he's weak. Zenon may be a prodigy. He may have learned some of his devil powers and the devil percentages quickly, but even Monica thinks that he's nothing but a weakling compared to her. And if we're saying the same, I think Dante sees this as well. Dante may see Zenon as a prodigy, but Dante loves himself. He really does. And he wouldn't put Zenon above him in that quite regard. He'd probably just say, nah, Zenon's probably the weakest out of all of us. I think this correlates to why Monica likes doing flashy things to get noticed. Because again, and Lucifer Magicula, he has felt it before, and he knows how it feels. And I think he doesn't want to feel it again. He doesn't want to feel like he's the weakest of the bunch. He wants to prove that he's the strongest. But Zenon's devil is going to betray him. It wouldn't make any sense. And we haven't seen devils really work together with humans besides Nox devils and Libe. But what if Tabata shows us another devil who doesn't really just hate humans, has an ideology that just seems evil to the humans of the Black Clover world? Show them that they aren't just a quiet person who just sits around and does what they're told like a robot. And Zenon, yes, he probably does care about siblings, but he knows it's already too late because his plan is already in motion, and nothing's going to stop him because Zenon will not stop until his plan is fulfilled. And we're definitely going to get a Dark Tribe backstory before all of this. And I don't think Veronica or Dante is going to tell us because they both seem insane right now.
Now, talking about a theory that actually no one has talked about, which is Zenon being sus. I'm surprised no one has made a video on this whole topic. Like, he's the most mysterious of the triad. Like, wouldn't you think people would make multiple videos on this guy? Now, there is something that I think everyone has been talking about on Twitter. Is the relationship between Yuno and Zenon. Are they brothers? I can see people already saying, alright, look, wouldn't people compare this to Toya being, Dabi and the whole Todoroki household drama? Well, yes, the internet will try and compare this whole situation to the Dabi and Shoto's situation, but have an explanation in a way to make it very, very different. Now, what if I told you Zenon is not a Grimbariel? And what if I told you Zenon's probably not even his real name? It seems completely wild in a far stretch, but hear me out. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is debunk the Dark Tribe being siblings. I do not think Zenon is related to these guys. I think it's only Monica and Dante. The first thing we have to take a look at is the eye color. As you can see right now, Zenon has blue eyes, Monica has red eyes, and Dante, I'm going to use the manga volumes as my source of income, which Dante has light green eyes. Now, taking a look at all the manga volumes, what do they have in common? Well, what does Monica and Dante have in common? Well, the color of their skin. Zenon looks more pale, he looks more dead. This could completely be a stretch. You could just say this is just the coloring of the manga volumes, so this does not matter. So that, I would possibly agree with you. Now, the best thing I could do is talk about Yuno's mother, because the reason I'm bringing her up is her and Zenon share some striking resemblance. And looking at Zenon, it's strikingly clear that these guys, Yuno and Zenon, kind of act similar. So I'm going to give you guys an instant where I think this sold me on them kind of being related or being connected. Now, I want to tell Tabata that he's a very, very good writer when it comes to paralleling characters. And he was able to do this with Yuno and Zenon, not telling us, just showing us how Yuno was feeling. Now, maybe I'm just looking too into it. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But Tabata don't do coincidences. Yuno has the same look as Zenon, right after he lost half of his family, which is the Golden Dawn. Now, why would Zenon continue carrying himself like this? Maybe he lost something precious to him as well, and that's why he carries himself like this. Now, you may be able to chalk this up as just me being insane, since I'm even insane for even mentioning this theory. Now, I give you guys minor details on why I think Zenon could be related to Yuno, but what has Zenon shown? Why do I think this so highly that these guys could be related? Let's quickly talk about Yuno, because he clearly looks like a carbon copy of his father. Right now, he just needs a beard. On Yuno's backstory, because I think there's something that kind of hints that Yuno and Zenon could be connected, or that Zenon has some sort of connection towards Yuno. Now, we need to talk about when the Dark Triad were taking over. We already know Zenon didn't really do anything. He didn't really kill anyone or attack anyone, but you can sum it up as saying that he probably did, but he probably was off screen. But it looked like Veronica did most of the killing. But in my opinion, I think Zenon didn't do anything. Zenon looked more or less sad that the kingdom was getting overrun and that they were doing this. What makes it even more suspicious is that he let Prince Yuno go instead of going out and killing him himself. Because Zenon had the power to do it. He really could. But he decided to just say, if you want to go after him, you can. I'm not going after him. Wouldn't that be weird that he is not going after the prince? Somebody who could come back eventually and overtake the Dark Triad. What makes it even more weird is that Sabah brings back the throne room from the anime and makes Zenon stand in it and look around. Maybe Zenon is reminiscing on the fact that Lois and Seal used to be their rulers, but now it's been taken because of his siblings in the Dark Triad. Tabata could have picked any room for Yuno versus Zenon, but he chose the throne room. Now, people may be saying that it's probably just Yuno taking back his throne, but wouldn't he try to take back his throne from Dante, since Dante is now the king of the Spade Kingdom. Tabata then furthers his evidence by Zenon basically telling Yuno about the history of the two ancient demons where the Grimbarios had to seal them and defend them. And they, the Dark Triad, took them out to distract the Clover Kingdom. Now, after the Elf Saga, I'm going to say now, do not believe this story. I'm telling you this right now. Remember what happened with the elves and how the Clover Kingdom saw them as demons? Do not perceive this story as true. It could be completely twisted, and this is what Zenon already knows, but it's probably twisted. Maybe the Grimbarios were the one that turned these two into ancient demons, and they kind of tried to cover it up by making this false story. Looking at all the Dark Triad, it makes perfect sense if Zenon was this type of Grimbario or related to their bloodline. But right now, for the sake of the theory, I'm going to say that they're brothers. And you guys want to know what the crazy thing is? We never see Seal die. We never see her dead. Only Lois is the one that's dead. They never mentioned that Lois and Seal are dead. It's just Lois. Seal may be captive of the Dark Triad. Now, this theory may be true. Then I know you guys are asking, why did Zenon almost kill Yuno? Let's be real, he did not give two fucks if this guy was a sibling or not.
Is this nigga serious?
And here's a simple answer. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know this is baby Yuno. He doesn't know this is Prince Yuno. Okay, now, but if this theory is true, how can I sum up their backstory? And how can I say that this is actually accurate? Instead of a ha, I fooled you all, I'm your brother, Tabata can pull it where it's not like a haha, I fooled you all. It's more of a, wow, you were my little brother and I didn't know. And this would put more depth into Zenon and see that he has more emotions than just staring at you and being nothing. It shows that he actually can care. He can actually be sad. This is where Zenon can finally tell the tale of a tragic tale of how he was stripped away from the Grimbarios by Dante. Now, I do believe that Dante does love Seal or has something for her, because the way how he was looking at her in episode 159 in the flashback is looking like it's more than just the queen and a subject. We already know that Dante was evil to the bone ever since he was a kid, so kidnapping a baby Zenon doesn't seem out of the picture for him, and building Zenon up to be his little brother. Well, him and Vonnegu's little brother. And when Zenon got his devil powers, he easily was able to get 80% of devil powers reaching the max. Now, Zenon is seen as a Spade Kingdom prodigy, and while Yuno is seen as a Clover Kingdom prodigy. Even though Zenon is not as crazy as Vonnegut and Dante, I still think that he has bottles of emotions wrapped up inside him. Listen, when you're with these two for most of your life, you're definitely going to have a crazy side. I think Zenon is trying to bottle that up, because I think Zenon already knows he's not a Zergrata sibling. He's just playing along. And when the Spade Resistance told the Dark Triad that they're not the rules of this country, I think it hit Zenon in a very certain spot, because Zenon already knows that he's not a Dark Triad sibling, that he might be a Grimbario. I think he probably already knows it. And it probably hits him in a certain spot because he didn't want this to happen. He doesn't want the old kingdom of the Spade Kingdom to turn into this. He was clearly sad of the destruction and the end of Lois and Seal's rule. I don't think when Zenon means that all for the benefit of the Spade Kingdom, he doesn't want a stronger kingdom. He wants it to go back to where it was perfect, where it was amazing, where Lois and Seal was ruling. I think he has this plan in his back pocket, but he must play the role as the third sibling of the Zergrata siblings. And I think that in this fight, Zenon would probably tell Yuno about most of the heritage, because I think Zenon is getting some hints and nostalgia factors from Yuno that this guy might be the prince of the Spade Kingdom. We all know that the Dark Triad have different agendas, and I think Zenon's agenda is completely bringing back the Spade Kingdom to where its former glory lies, which was before the Dark Triad took over. And it'd be his best interest to betray them now, since Dante's down and Vonnegu's looking like she's on death's row. Now, could I be wrong? Yes, I could be wrong. Right now, this is the best I have. Right now is where I call the video quits, because right now, we don't have any more info and they haven't fought ever since. So, we have to wait and see what Tabata has planned for these two. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this theory. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you stay notified whenever I upload. So, I'm gonna head out, you guys. Peace out. And I'm out, guys. Peace. Have a great rest of the day. And I'm out.